Hello again, and welcome to another edition of Cheat Code Fantasy Sports Podcasts. Zach Green here with Cody Harvey. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button on this video and share with your friends as we talk about last week's tournament and preview this week's. A little bit about us is we offer data-driven picks and plays with articles, cheat sheets, podcasts, player pools, but we don't give you lineups and say you need to play these lineups. You guys still make your own based on our advice. And we try to be as transparent as possible. We try to get everything out in a timely manner as well. All of our PGA stuff will be posted by the end of Tuesday night, depending on when you're watching this. And you can follow us on Twitter at CheatCodeFS, at the Cody Harvey, or at OkiCapvote14. And then be sure to join our Slack in the link below. It's where we're going to have a lot of good information. You know, we record these on Tuesday afternoon, so a lot of stuff can change just from Tuesday to Wednesday night. So make sure you're in our Slack for the latest information, especially for tiers. Normally we do tiers in the podcast, but they didn't have the contest released yet. They have the contest, but the player pool's not released yet. So there was nothing we could give you for that. But before we get into this week, let's recap last week's crazy tournament at the Memorial, which was just brutal, and only 7 golfers in the entire field for DraftKings scored over 80 DraftKings points. So let's go ahead and recap our cash plays. Cody, who would you have?
So thanks, Zach. So my first cash play was Patrick Cantlay. So he finished with 60.5 DK points, 6.2 times value. So he was pretty well owned in the Millie Maker at 26% and about 48% in the $25 double up. Not great for his price, was looking really good after round 3 and then just succumbed to the carnage that was the final round. So not great for his price. Would have liked to get more value there, but definitely helped having him in the lineups with the way scoring ended up. It was just absolutely brutal, like Zach said. Second was Abraham Answer. So Answer finished with 44 DK points, good for 5.2 times the value. Again, highly owned in GPPs, 22% in the Millie Maker, 38% in the $25 double up. Made the cut, but like Cantlay, just didn't do enough to get value. And then my third cash play was Paul Casey. Ended up with 28 DK points, 3.5 times value. Missed the cut really thanks to one hole, taking an 8 on the par 3 12th in the final round. 38% to the Millie Maker, 28% to the $25 double up. And yeah, missed the cut on the number, and pretty disappointing, but there was so much carnage last week. Didn't really anticipate the course playing like a US Open type course, but live and learn and move on to next week. But before we do that, so how did your cash plays go last week, Zach?
Yeah, my cash plays were pretty much ones to forget as well. But honestly, with my cash lineups, if I'm going to lose, I'd rather know I'm done on Thursday or Friday than have to wait around and get like 10 points away on Sunday and not make it. Anyways, Patrick Cantlay, you already mentioned him, so I won't repeat everything. Then the next one was Kevin Streelman. He had 45.5 DraftKings points, 6x value, 14% in the Millie, and 23% in the $25 double ups. Not that great. I mean, he made the cut, but then Saturday and Sunday, he just went backwards both days, especially Sunday. I think he shot +5 or 6 on Sunday alone. I mean, nobody really did good on Sunday. And then Ricky Fowler, 29 DraftKings points, 3.3x value, 9% in the Millie, 6% in the 25 double up. And his first day just killed him, +9. And he tried to rebound day 2, and I was rooting on him. And he got down to, I think, to -5 or -5 on the round for round 2. But every time he got a birdie, he would bogey the next hole and just kind of couldn't make it, missed the cut. So just a terrible, terrible cash week. Lots of guys just as I mentioned, a minute ago, only 8 or 7 golfers finished with 80 DraftKings points or higher, and so not very many people are hitting 7x value last week. And then for my GPPs, I had Harris English, 56 DraftKings points, 7.7x value, 8% in the milli, 7% in cash. He ended up being fine for cash, not really what we wanted for GPP, but better than a lot of guys did. And then Matthew Neesmith, 13.5 DraftKings, 2.2x value, just 1% owned and million in cash. Not great. I just took a chance on him again, hoping that maybe the week at the workday was just because he played well at workday in round 1 and then bad round 2, but he was just bad at Memorial. And then this last GPP play I had was kind of disappointing for me, was Webb Simpson, 24.5 DraftKings points, 2.6x value, 14% in the milli and 11% in cash. He missed the cut. It was by far his worst tournament that he's played since the break. And it didn't really seem like it should have happened. I mean, but as we've already mentioned, the course was just playing ridiculously hard compared to workday events. So who was your GPPs?
So my first GPP play was DJ Dustin Johnson, who was just brutal. Ended up almost DFL, dead frickin' last. Finished with 16.5 DK points, not even 2 times value. Ownership was there. If he would have performed, it would have been nice. 9% in the milli maker, 4% in cash. He was just brutal, and he ended up. It was him and Webb Simpson were really similar. It seemed like once their round got away from him, they just didn't care anymore. They're like, forget it. I'll play it wherever it lands. Second GPP play was Jason Day. Great to see Jason Day do well. 81 DK points, over 10 times value, 9% in the milli maker, 6% in cash. Surprisingly low owned, considering, like Zach mentioned, it's Tuesday and we're recording. So I don't typically do a lot of looking at other people's work around the industry, and surprisingly low owned for how good a fit he was. Back tightened up, but he was a grinder and pulled through. So great to see Jason Day do well. And then the last GPP pick was Shane Lowry, ended up with 20 DK points, 2.8 times value, 4.6% in the milli maker, 2.5% in cash. Missed the cut. I thought, if we were getting US Open type conditions and the course was playing tougher, someone like Lowry, someone like Casey really fits that mold, but ended up missing the cut and not a great performance from Mr. Lowry. So that brings us to this week's tournament, the 3M Open. So we're going to the TPC Twin Cities in Blaine, Minnesota. So that's part of the Twin Cities, St. Paul, Minneapolis area. It's par 71, 7,468 yards. It's a fairly straightforward layout. Lots of similarities I'm finding between here and Detroit Golf Club for the Rocket Mortgage Classic. It's no surprise, being in Minnesota, there's lots of water in play. Last year, so we've only got a 1-year sample size. Last year was the first time there. So last year it played above average for guys hitting the fairway and hitting the greens in regulation. Bent grass greens run about 12 and a half on the stimp. So it's not, we're not going to see it like putting on glass like last week. Average size greens, 3.5-inch rough. Nothing really is on the course is going to keep the guys from scoring really, really low. So saw Matt Wolf go low last year. And I'm anticipating we're going to see scores in the 20s again this year. So I know it's early, but how's the weather looking so far, Zach?
For Thursday, right now, as of right now anyways, it's looking like the best day so far. 61 degrees at the first tee. So that's going to be really nice for those guys teeing off in the morning on Thursday, and 2-mile-an-hour wind, so pretty much no wind. And then it gets up to about 70 with about 6-mile-an-hour wind by 10 o'clock, and then 82 for the high. So it's even in the afternoon, it's not going to get warm enough to like dry out the greens and things like that. So we should see low scoring pretty much all day Thursday. And the best part is no chance of rain on Thursday. Friday, it's a little bit warmer at the first tee, 70 degrees with 8-mile-an-hour north wind. The wind picks up to about 10 miles an hour at 10 a.m. with 79 degrees. And then it gets up to about 13 to 15 miles an hour in the afternoon and warmer, 88 degrees. And then about 40% chance of storms. So Friday is going to be the main day that we need to check in the afternoon for storms. And then Saturday, 76 in the morning, 8-mile-an-hour wind. And then it pretty much just stays at 10 miles an hour for the afternoon and late morning. And 84 degrees at 10 and 92 at for the high temperature. Small chance, 20% chance of storms. And then Sunday, 76 in the morning with a 6-mile-an-hour wind, and then 83 by 10 and 90 for the high with 8-mile-an-hour wind the rest of the day, and about 30% chance of storms. So Thursday and Friday, the temperatures aren't going to be warm enough to really dry out the greens, so we should see low scoring pretty much all day. Saturday in the afternoon and Sunday in the afternoon is going to be a little bit warmer, so we could have a little bit of the greens drying out. Just a reminder again, I looked at the forecast about an hour ago on Tuesday afternoon. So stuff is going to be changing, especially with the weather, with the wind and the storms. So you need to get in our Slack chat for updates. Tomorrow I'll give an update around the afternoon, and then I'll give another one in the evening when people are making their lineups. Because there's nothing you can really do to prepare for the whole tournament, on Thursday for storms on Sunday. But for the showdown, especially, is where we can determine if the AM has an advantage or PM. So that's it for the weather.